Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be going over how to write an as-is offer on a listing, and I'm going to run through it a little bit quickly. This is one that I'm actually doing. So here we go. The first step is you find the listing on the MLS that you'd like to make an offer on. In this case, it's this property here, Smithfield Drive. Once you're in the listing page, you click on this TD icon, which stands for Transaction Desk. That will open up the Transaction Desk program to create a transaction with. So here we've created a new transaction that matches the property address. I have templates already in here that have certain documents that I need. These are for listings, and so I won't be using any of those. The transaction type is a residential sale, and it's going to import the data from the MLS using the MLS ID, and I am the selling agent, which means I represent the buyer. I'm going to create the transaction with these features here. And now I've created a new transaction called 2838 Smithfield Drive. Now, the next step for me is going to be to add forms. Well, this will walk you through it here. We're in detail, step 1 of 5, so we'll click the next step. This is the next step is to input the transaction dates. So the list date is here. The expiration date, we don't know what that is because that's a listing feature. Our offer date is today, January 9th. Our offer expiration date will be 2 days from now, Saturday. We'll leave the time alone because the time doesn't get imported into the contract. We don't have an effective date yet. Our proposed closing date will make it 45 days from now, so 30 days will be about February 9th, plus 15 is February 28th. Sorry, February 24th. So we'll go with February 21st as a closing date on this one. So once we've gotten that information, we don't have a funding date yet. Application due date, we're going to leave these to match the what the contract boilerplate language includes. So the next step is step 3 of 5 to create the contacts who will be used. The listing broker is Century 21. I am the selling agent. The listing agent is here. The selling broker is my brokerage here, Remax Town Center. I'm going to add a buyer, create a new transaction contact. You're using the drop down. I'm going to choose buyer, and buyer number 1 is named Kenneth Hughes. And let's see his email address. Hughes. Okay. I'll add this. I'll finish this part later, and we'll save that. And buyer number 2, create a new transaction type. She's a buyer. Her name is Tiffany Hughes. I'll add the email later. Save that. So these are the parties to the contract. Step 3. Now on to step 4, which is forms. The forms we're going to be using on this one will be the as-is contract. So what I've done here is I've clicked add a form using the plus symbol, and this gives me folders of various forms that can be used as part of this contract, or I can search for them if I know what they're called using this search bar. I'm going to type in as is, which pulls up these options, and we're using the far bar residential contract and addenda. So that's the as-is residential contract for sale and purchase. We're using that. This is the most recent version. By using Transaction Desk, it always gives you the most recent version of the forms. So this is called the as-is 5X. We've selected that one here. I'm going to add that to the transaction. The next step is to add documents. These are documents that are not Association of Realtor forms, so these are broker-specific documents. And I will click here, Add, and then I can choose a document from my computer, or I can upload one from a DocBox, which is a box of documents within this program that are already saved. I have these folders set up within the program as my folders, and then in here I have RTC for Remax Town Center Buyer Docs and Seller Docs. The one I need is in Buyer Docs, and it's called a Remax Town Center Buyer Disclosure. I'm going to select that, which adds that document. The other document I'm going to add is a seller's disclosure, which the seller has provided in the MLS. I've saved that to my computer, so I'm going to use this feature and search for the disclosures here, and those are uploading. And now all of this documentation has been saved. I can click Done. So now it shows I'm in the transaction. These are the forms I'm using. The documents I'm using are in this tab here, but I want to make modifications to the contract. So I'll click on the contract, and it brings me here to the contract to make those modifications. Now, the first thing I'm noticing is the seller's names are not on the contract, so we should add those. I also want to add the "and" word in between the two buyers' names. In order to get the seller names, I have to go to anything that shows me the public records for this home. So I'm going back to the MLS, and on this listing, I can click on these tax records here, and it shows the name of the seller. So I'm going to copy that and paste it here as a seller name. Okay, the next step is personal property included. This home is vacant, so everything here applies. Personal property included: range, ovens, refrigerators, dishwashers, disposals. All of these things that are typical are listed here, so I won't be adding anything else. This home is listed for $385, and we're going to be offering $360,000. When I was with the buyers, I told them their deposit amount would be $3,500. That's about 1% of the purchase price. Now, this deposit will be due within 3 days, is what I'm proposing here. And the next step is to input the amount that the borrowers will be borrowing, their loan amount. So writing the contract is typical, as you would usually do from that point forward, but mainly I wanted to create this video to show you how to get to the contract process from the MLS, and I'll be completing this process here and then uploading it to be signed electronically for the buyers. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching.